Okay, this is our TransDRY experiment, wicking cotton, to see how the TransDRY wicking cotton you've got here on your left from PMX, it's a base layer t-shirt of theirs, works compared to a regular cotton t-shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half a cup of water on each of those, and we got some trusty paper towel here to see just how far the water actually gets spread around the t-shirt, and then we'll come back and we'll look at how quickly that the t-shirt with the TransDRY t-shirt from PMX dries versus the regular cotton t-shirt. So here we go. So we've got half a cup of water. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the TransDRY t-shirt, and we've got another half cup water, put it right in the middle of the regular cotton t-shirt. So you can actually see here that you've got where the half cup of water was poured, and the water is starting to be dispersed kind of wider across the TransDRY t-shirt. The cotton over here has kind of soaked up all the excess water. Not quite as much of a transfer as the TransDRY is doing, but we'll see how it works. Okay, 5 minutes has passed, and not sure if you can see how far the water line on the TransDRY kind of comes right up to about here and possibly about there. So I would say it actually looks somewhat equal to the spread of the normal cotton t-shirt. Far up. See, the water's been kind of spread all the way up here. Still pretty damp in the center. This one's much more damp in the center, I would say, than this guy is, but all in all it looks like it's kind of spreading the water evenly. So we will see how it gets on. I'm going to hang them up over the railing and test how quickly the TransDRY dries in the air, as if you were out hiking and you stop hiking, versus the regular cotton, if that's just going to sit and you're going to get cold and wet in that. So stay tuned, we'll see what happens. So far it's looking, I would say, somewhat neck and neck. This is maybe a bit wetter in the middle, but in terms of the space on wicking the water out away from the center of where you would be sweating perhaps, it's looking about the same, so we'll see. Okay, it's been about an hour since I poured the water on both of the t-shirts, and they're both actually still pretty wet, so we'll let them dry some more and see how we get on. Okay, it's been almost 2 hours now, and both of the shirts are still pretty damp, so not a great sign for cotton nor TransDRY cotton. So I decided I'm going to do a bit of a comparison here. I've got a icebreaker wool base layer shirt, and I'm going to pour some water on that and see how quickly that dries, just so it's not a cotton comparison, but a cotton and other base layer comparison as well too. So let's get to the wool. Okay, here's my icebreaker 200 Body Fit base layer. I'm going to take similar half cup of water and pour that on the wool. Interesting thing to note is that it's actually not sucking into the wool versus the cotton, where it immediately kind of got absorbed by the cotton and spread out. Alright, so we're going to hang up the icebreaker shirt alongside the other two cotton shirts and see how this dries in comparison to the TransDRY and the regular cotton shirt. Okay, we're at 2.5 hours, and the blue cotton t-shirt is dry, and the TransDRY shirt is still a bit damp, sad to say. And there is the wool base layer, and after half an hour this is actually starting to get kind of dry. So we'll let the wool go and see if it can beat the 2.5 hour plain cotton t-shirt, and hopefully the TransDRY shirt will be dry soon as well. Okay, we're at hour 3 and the TransDRY t-shirt is now fully dry. The cotton we know dried already, and the wool shirt after an hour is pretty much almost dry. Still a bit damp, so I'm gonna let it go for a while to see how long that takes. Okay, final tally is icebreaker wool base layer, hour and 20 minutes to completely dry with a half a cup of water. Regular cotton t-shirt, 2.5 hours to dry with a half a cup of water. And the TransDRY Polar Max wicking cotton base layer took almost 3 hours to completely dry with a half a cup of water. So I'm thinking it stick to the wool base layer.